See, I have this theory that the Ghoulies are aging in the 4 movies.
So they get bigger.
Well, not even necessarily bigger. So, like, in the first 2, it's basically
Well,
the
in
same.
Ghoulies 4, they're actual people.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they are bigger by the 4th one, but the 3rd one, they, like, talk. In the first one, they look kind of like babies, so that would kind of make sense that by the 3rd one, they're, like, growing, they can talk now.
Oh, I did, speaking of looking kind of like babies, there was an IMDb trivia piece that got 5 out of 15 found this interesting.
Okay, good.
And I'm surprised 5 did.
All right.
Because it said, like, the opening scene... It was under the spoilers section. It was the only trivia thing under the spoilers. But it said, the whatever character Sting plays, it's like in the opening scene, he's trying to kill a baby. Mm-hmm. Later on, the Ghoulies, it's referring to the water ghoulie, looks a bit like a baby.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good.
Could you imagine being one of the 5 people that found that interesting?
That's some really interesting trivia right there. I never thought about it like that.
We've had better fake trivia things.
I've never quite thought about it like that. Then, wow.
It sort of looks like a baby. It's got a round head, and it's bald. I'll give you that.
Isn't that something?
Those are the only defining qualities of babies.
I mean, it does kind of look like a baby.
Razor-sharp teeth. Babies are known for that.
Yeah, they're known for that. I mean, and It's Alive,
Yes, yeah. There's an It's Alive quality to these things.
What do you think of the Ghoulies?
This is a tough one. I mean, I appreciate...
Because you're thinking, how can a movie be so perfect?
No. I appreciate a lot of the insanity.
Okay.
And I think that the moment, to me, that stuck out probably the most was the one that you referred to as being particularly crazy one, when Sting bursts through the glass doors and just screams for no reason. And then we get the weird close-ups that don't match. Like, that is a very enjoyable scene. And I enjoyed the scene with everyone screaming.
Yes.
I enjoyed it mostly because it went on for about 45 seconds too long.
Right. But you gotta love it.
And the wizard fight at the end won me over. It took a while because it started like, what is this? This is pathetic. This is embarrassing. But then when Jack Nance started shooting lasers out of his eyes, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of on board.
Yeah, I agree.
Overall, Ghoulies, it's not really my cup of tea overall. It's not my favorite type of... I guess maybe I'm not the biggest fan of this type of movie, and I don't necessarily mean, the rubber puppet monster movies.
Yeah.
But I'm referring more to, like, the budget, the style, the era when this movie came out, like this style of, like, this 80s kind of direct-to-video type movie. This movie wasn't direct-to-video. This is a rarer Charles Band theatrical release. As we said, it played at Venice. It made $5-6 million at the box office, which... for all I know, is Charles Band's most profitable film.
It could be.
And it's not much less profitable than Body Double. Body Double made like 10 million maybe or something like that. So it's like, hey, these movies are kind of comparable in their box office take, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, next week, I'll get to this later. One of the movies I'm going to be covering next week is Spookies. Again,
I'm excited.
Sort of in the Ghoulies vein. That's even lesser than Ghoulies, lower budget, dumber. Not really my type of movie, even though there's like aspects to it that might be fun. And there's fun monster stuff here. The plot's insane.
Right.
There barely is a plot. Or no, I shouldn't say there barely is a plot. There's like 3 or 4 plots in the movie. And the movie kind of joyously goes from one to the other without much explanation. And that, after a while, gets kind of fun. Early on, it's kind of frustrating.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's okay. There are worse, cheap Charles Band monster movies out there. There are far worse. There's probably better.
Well, you heard it here first.
You wouldn't say there are, but, it's not a monster movie. Well, it kind of is a monster movie, but Trancers 2 is better than this. I'll just say it. Trancers 2 is a lot better than
Ghoulies. How about that? I call these critter pictures.
Okay.
Movies with like Ghoulies, Gremlins.
Well, remind us again of the big 4. Who are the big 4?
Okay, the big 4 is Hobgoblins, Critters, Gremlins, and Ghoulies. But then you also
it's so weird that you mentioned Hobgoblins first. But okay,
well, I was just mentioning them. I guess I don't know why that was the order I chose. I can't explain it.
As you and I have argued before, I argue there's really just a big 3. Hobgoblins to me is the odd man out. There's no room for it.
But
I don't
it's
see
always in the
Hobgoblins
conversation.
As being more essential to this genre than Munchie.
I think more people have seen Hobgoblins at this point because it's like considered a so bad it's good movie, whereas
because of Mr. Science Theater and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then I think Munchies is like kind of has that, but not to the extent. Like Hobgoblins is like a pretty big one.
Munchie has the weird kind of like connectivity to like, I don't want to say but like Jennifer Love Hewitt's in Munchie, right?
In Munchie or Munchies?
I thought it was Munchie.
I think she is. Yes,
Munchie is the comedy. Munchies is like they're even smaller. They're more like reptilian.
Yeah, they're like
Munchie.
Puppet,
he's like
they're more puppet kind of thing.
Yeah, Munchie's like a flattened face kangaroo.
It's Dom DeLuise doing just a weird character.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Dom DeLuise is like, if not an A-lister, he's a name.
Yes.
You know, and Hobgoblins doesn't have anything like that, obviously. So it's like, but like, Critters has names. This movie, I mean, Mariska Hargitay became a name.
But Critters has names, but like, in the sense that like Leonardo DiCaprio was in the third one before he was famous.
No, but I mean Dee Wallace. I mean I'm even just referring to the first one. Dee Wallace is in it,
and also Brad Dourif in that fourth one.
Leo
Johnson.
And Billy Zane in the first one. I'm a big Billy Zane fan.
Oh yeah, he is in the first one. I forgot about that.
And Scott Grimes from Band of Brothers.
Okay.
Another HBO thing that you can watch right after watching
Shocker.
Ghoulies if you want.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So you're saying that this is the best movie ever made then?
I'm saying it's fine. You kind of know if Ghoulies is the movie for you.
I agree.
Already. You know, if you're like, oh, Ghoulies, I've heard of it, I don't think it'd be for me, then you're right. And if you're like, Ghoulies, yeah, that sounds like a really fun movie, you're right. Yeah. It really is just like it is what you think it is.
I agree, but also if you thought it was going to be a fun movie and maybe you weren't into it, I think you should still watch Ghoulies 2 and 3.
Yeah, well, 3, I think you need to be dialed into even a different level of schlock.
It's completely different. Yeah, it is. It's cartoon. It's like Three Stooges almost, that movie.
Exactly. You have to know that going in. There's no horror aspect to Ghoulies.
No, not a single.
Yeah, none. It's like Munchie. He's a little monster.
That's like a family comedy.
Exactly.
Munchie.
Yeah, that's what Ghoulies 3 is.
It's not even family. It's definitely not family. But it's got the same.
Well, there's
level.
Drinking and stuff. Yeah, it's like
there's a lot.
But it's not like a sex comedy or anything. It's not
turns
like
into
full-on
one.
American Pie.
It kind of turns into one. There's that like panty raid scene with like 100 nude girls in it.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering it.
It's not like completely.
I didn't know it becomes road trip beer pong. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not completely a sex comedy, but it turns into that a little bit after a certain point.
So it's Munchie meets Animal House.
Kind of, honestly. It's like Three Stooges
Three Stooges.
Yeah, meets Munchie meets Animal House.
That's a winning formula if I've ever heard one.
I think it's
Ghoulies
great.
3 I highly recommend. I actually do enjoy Ghoulies 3 a lot. I've only seen Ghoulies 3 once. I've only seen Ghoulies 2 once. I've seen Ghoulies now 3 times.
3 times. That's
I would say Ghoulies 3 is my favorite. I would say
I could get down with that.
Maybe I need to see Ghoulies 2 again. I think I'm bumping Ghoulies above Ghoulies 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
at least for now
you're necessarily going to enjoy it more, but I know a lot of people enjoy that one who don't like the first one. So I think it's worth at least checking out.
So it's worth sticking with the series.
It's worth at least trying it out.
Okay.
I think it's at the very least more instantly fun. They're at a carnival the entire time.
Well, and I would say, too, that if nothing else, Ghoulies 2 is more the movie what you would expect from
I agree.
Ghoulies.
I agree.
Ghoulies, and that's kind of what makes Ghoulies interesting, but also not, and maybe in some ways it makes it more entertaining or more engaging.
Uh-huh.
But Ghoulies is so unlike what you would expect from a movie called Ghoulies.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
Came out a little bit after Gremlins, and seemingly to cash in on the rubber puppet monster craze of the Critters films and stuff like that. Like it's this weird like Satan worshipping plot with sorcerers fighting each other. It's really weird, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do say kind of.
I do think
that's for me. It's kind of fun.
I think it's the best movie ever made. Obviously. It's tied with the other 2 Ghoulies movies.